everyone, it is your girl GELBEAUTY 87 here, aka Grace. Today we're gonna get into another limited edition palette I'm never letting go. So y'all seem to like the first episode when I showed you my limited edition palette collection and told you how I wasn't letting it go, and you want to find out my cold dead hands. You can be mad, sad, or glad they were staying with me. So I decided we do a part 2. So they're trying to slide up my lap while I'm talking. That's why I'm over here on a struggle bus. But yes, so welcome to all the newcomers. Hello, how are you? And let's get into this video. So the first palette I have is the Lion King, or is it Sir John S. Luminous. So if you are new to the makeup world, Sir John came out with a collection with this brand called Luminous. They're the people that had like the little spray on makeup that you can do like in store. I'm not in store, like the spray airbrush one like they say they do in Hollywood, whatever. That's what they have. So this is what it looks like. I was pleasantly surprised by this color story because, as you can see, it has a whole bunch of neutrals, but I understand like a lot of the neutrals work best for people my skin tone. So that's why I was really appreciative of this palette, because I'm like, you know, a lot of times they had a beige shade I talk about all the time that, you know, I can't use, and it serves no purpose for me, and they seem to be in everybody's palette. So I liked for once that there was a palette that did not have that. So for that reason alone, I was like, yeah, it's never going anywhere. Not to mention, I mean, Sir John made it. Who the hell's getting rid of it? It's not me. No. What we will not do is that. Even though I barely use it, it does have like the jewel tone shimmers that I do like, and it has a lot of neutrals to it. So if I had to go out somewhere fancy and I wanted a subtle version of what I normally like to do, like this crazy stuff I have on now, I would use this palette right here for sure. And just because it's monumental piece of makeup history, since Sir John doesn't have his own makeup line like Makeup by Mario, I want to hold on to it. When he gets his own makeup line, I'm still not getting rid of it, because then I'm gonna have to compare the formulas and the notes and all that. Even though it'd probably be 100 years old by then and not work. But I don't know. We don't know what the future holds. I just know I'm holding on to that palette. Thank you. So next, of course, I have my Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson Tiny Marvels palette. This is one I feel like the community is never letting go of. Mel Thompson died, I want to say it's been like 3 or 4 years ago now. And she came up with this palette with this brand, and I bought it just because I love Mel Thompson. I feel like she's a great content creator. Her videos are still up. It's just underneath her husband's like name, but her channel's still up if you're interested in watching any of her content. She did great work. She was a pro makeup artist at MAC for I forgot how many years. So she definitely had great techniques, and you should definitely check her out if you are new to the makeup world and you need some inspiration, because she did a wonderful job, and her legacy lives on in this palette. So I believe the brand still sells this palette. Do not quote me. I know you can use my girl Karen Harris's code, so you can use Cage Makeup to purchase this palette if you are interested. But I love the color story of this. I love how she came up with these fun bright pastel colors that come with a lot of neutrals, so she made it wearable but still fun pops of color for people like me who like stuff like that. So I definitely am holding on to this forever. There will never be another Mel Thompson. Okay, so the next one I have, of course, y'all know who getting rid of their moon spell. Who? I mean, I've seen people do it, and I was just like, how? Like, what? No. This is one of Manny's all-time best palettes ever in his collection. I do like Strawberry Dream and some other ones, but like moon spell is just like, look at this. Look at how much time and detail he took into the artwork on this. And the back, he even made it like a book with like the spine of the palette having in there. He killed it with all this. And then, of course, this is more my color story. It's the blue, the green, the purple. Even though it's more turquoise blue and more green, but I was here for all of this. Now, I would get rid of Moonspell too. That's why you don't see it here. But it's like, I'm never getting rid of this one, honey. No. Even if I just keep it for decoration alone forever, like, it is just one that needs to stay. So I'm definitely holding on to this beauty right here. And I'm sorry for anyone who didn't get their hands on it that wanted it. But you could probably find off somebody's Mercier or Poshmark, since people, believe it or not, have been getting rid of this palette, which I don't understand. But you know, to each his own. You just know mine's not going anywhere. Thank you. Next I have, and this is a newer one, but I just love the fact that I know he doesn't do color stories like this that often, and he actually went there and did it. So this is the Siren Sunset. Just because we all know Manny isn't into colors like this or this type of colorful vibe, I'm gonna have to hoard this palette forever, because like the shade Ariel is amazing, the water nympho is really nice, the Sea Witch shade is nice. All the dual chromes and multi-chromes and cool tones shades that he put to create and make this palette are simply stunning. So needless to say, I'm not letting go of mine, just because who knows the next time he'll do something fun like this. He's not known for doing like bright fun colors. So when he did, or at least this murky cool tone version of fun colors combined, I'm gonna have to hoard it, because you know, we don't get stuff like this from him. And I like his formula, I like his brand. It's just, you know I'm not going to get it that often. So when I get it, I have to hoard it. So I'm hoarding that. Now, this next brand, I feel like you shouldn't be surprised by the last one I'm going to show, but I'm going to go ahead and show this first one. So I have the Devour palette from Ensley Cosmetics. I know this looks really similar to Begonia. I have shown you all it looks very similar to Begonia, but I feel like it just has a little more depth and a little bit more of transition shades and stuff I like in it, plus the iridescent shades that Begonia did not have. Plus, I told y'all I just hate the pans of Begonia. I don't know why they decided to do that Urban Decay like pan side, and then it's even longer and thinner than the Urban Decay was, in my personal opinion, so it just made me even madder. I don't know why they did that, but I was not feeling it. It made me very upset. So needless to say, that's why I'm not, I'm not necessarily going to keep that one permanently. But I know I'll keep this one permanently because I love this color story and I like the combination in this palette. And what they chose, see, they have the deeper one for the outer V. And then you have the lighter one as your transition shade or your crease shade. And then you have 3 different tones of greens, which I was extremely excited about. So I'm like, yes, it's giving. I'm leaving. I need this palette. Thank you so much. It is mine and I will hoard it forever. I just love that color story. Next, I have my So Strange palette. Now, I did buy all 3 of these. I liked all 3 of them well enough. Well, the third one, y'all know the issue I had with it. We're not going to get into it. But So Strange was the one that I used the most out of this collection easily. Like, I mean, look at this. You get this nice little rainbow, not rainbow, sunset eye over here. And then you get more like a poison ivy-ish type thing with a pop of pink, because that's what I thought of when I saw it, the dark grays and then the greens. It's poison ivy, or maybe an AKA moment. If you're an AKA, you could use this for that. I don't know, but I love the color story of this palette. I love the formula of this palette. This is one of my all-time favorite Halloween collections she came out with, and it is one I will hold on to forever. So, of course, the last one, I feel like nobody is going to see surprise at all. If you have been here any amount of time, I have raved about this palette forever and I have been patiently waiting for the brand to bring it back. So, this is the Vitality palette. And the funny thing is, when I first got this, if you all remember, I was talking about how I felt like the mattes and the shimmers are kind of hard pressed in the pan. But once you get through that layer, it is stunning. And it's a very unique rainbow palette, which was another thing that I really liked about it. You see how it has the unique tones of like more pastels mixed with more grungier, rainbowish colorfuls, and it's not truly like all rainbow because you see you don't have any reds in here. So it's a nice little colorful palette for people like me who love colorful palettes but don't want to keep having the same rainbow-esque colorful palette. So that's why I want to keep this one on deck forever, just because, you know, it's giving, I'm living, and I have to have it in my collection permanently. So this one's not going anywhere ever. I don't care what happens. You'll have to try to pry it out of my hands. I don't care if you offered me tons of money for it. It's like, you can't have it. You better go find one on Mercari. I'm not letting it go. So next palettes I have to talk about is Adept Cosmetics. So what's the other ones? I had some more. Where are the other ones I had? Damn it. Hold please. I gotta find the other palettes, y'all. Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna start off with the ones that I thought I had in my lap when I didn't. So of course I have the Beetlejuice and Milk Cosmetics collection. Honey, do y'all see, first of all, do y'all see this packaging? Like, this neon chartreuse green packaging is just reason enough alone to keep it, because, you know, like decorating a beauty room, you need to, you know, like have stuff to put up in it. So it's just like, yes. But this is what this looks like. This is the recently deceased one. It is stunning. I mean, the only thing with these, and everybody always says this, and I 100% agree, but you know, I'm keeping it anyway. They talk about how a lot of the colors in here are really similar to the other colors, and they don't give you enough depth with the colors, which I 100% agree on. Like, this is the waiting room one. As you can see, it doesn't really give that much depth in between colors. Like, these two shades are kind of similar. And you got this random bright white matte, then like this red and this red I feel like are pretty similar, and then those two reds, like when you swatch them on the hand, they look pretty similar. There's not enough depth in the crease. Maybe if you're lighter it gives more depth, but on someone my skin tone, I personally feel like it doesn't give depth. And I feel like even people that are lighter have been saying that these don't give enough depth. However, these are a piece of makeup history that I will not be letting go of ever. I don't care what you say, I don't care what you're talking about. Some male collections are just that girl and you cannot let them go. Like this next one I'm gonna talk about, and they just recently brought this back, like, what was it, 2022, and everybody was excited about it. Not 2022, 2023, and everybody was excited about it, honey. Look here, it is Vita and Morte. They just brought the Morte palette back because everybody begged for Morte like for years, but the thing is, when you put them together, it's supposed to make a skull. Now, this is my original one. This isn't my new one, because the original one molds together. When they remade them, obviously, they didn't have the other one to compare to make sure that they fit side by side. So, they just put the magnets in it, and it doesn't fit evenly. But that's not the point. I keep them both just for the skull, because obviously, I only use the Morte. I'm not even going to front you. Like, I can't tell you last time I used my Beaute palette, but because they're in an aesthetic and a vibe, and they have to go together, like, I just have both of them to use. But, honey, if it was a fire and I could only grab one of them, I'm grabbing my Morte, okay? My original Morte, not the new one, because the new formula is not the same as this. It's, I don't know, it feels grittier when you swatch it, and then it doesn't blend out as easily or as pigmented as this original one does. So it's definitely not the original formula, but if you just want the color story from them, then you know, it was the one for you. However, I showed y'all that the Jason palette from Glamlight had a similar color story to this. It just had a mauve and like silverish moment, as opposed to more of the tones that are in this palette. But it had a good majority of the tones in this palette though. So if you're interested, you can still go ahead and get it, because I think they finally sold out of Morte. But yeah, the color story of this, absolutely stunning and amazing. Like, I remember I had to message them on Instagram because I was going on vacation, and I wanted it to be my birthday present to myself. And I was like, look, I signed up for y'all email so I get the cute little code, but y'all didn't send the cute little code, so run me the code. So they actually DM'd me back on Instagram and gave me the code, and I was like, thank you so much, because this is my birthday present to myself and I need it. So I'm definitely not getting rid of those, because I think those came out in 2019. I want to say it was 2019, and that, oh honey, we know what happened the next year, honey. And I'm Scorpio, so it was like at the end of the year, so I got me something good in before whatever. Anyway, so the next one I have to talk about that I will not be letting go of is Smoke Session. Smoke Session is just the first eyeshadow palette they came out with. So that's why I was like, I need it in my collection, I need it in my life. Because Smoke Sessions, you know, is just goals. Because this was their very first palette when they used to do the weed palettes every year for 420. This is that palette. Now, this was their holiday palette for 2018, I want to say. And then 2019, during 420 is when they actually re-released it. And I'm glad I didn't get the first one, because that was the ones when they was talking about the shadows, like the shimmers were foaming out the pan or whatever. I didn't never had that issue with mine, because I bought mine during 420. So I thank God for that. And the only thing I will say about this is, like, it only gives you one dark shimmer, so you can only do really smoky looks with this, or you have to pair with like another palette, which I don't necessarily mind, because since I like greens and blues and purples and those type of shades, I can easily pair this with a different palette and make it work. But if you don't like that, you might not necessarily like this. They still make this palette, but this is just a classic to me, because it was their very first eyeshadow palette when they stopped doing like the stacks. So I was like, I have to have it. Now, this one, believe it or not, y'all might find shocking, because I said I didn't like the formula of one of them. But again, it's the aesthetic of it. It's the whole vibe, because this is just such a melt collection that I feel like I should just need to have in my collection. So these are the ones that they came out with in 2023 for holiday. This is Halloween Town, and this is Christmas Town. I thought I was going to like Christmas Town more than Halloween Town, but I actually like Halloween Town more than Christmas Town. So let me open them up, and then you can see, just in case you have not seen these before. So this is a Halloween Town. This is what it looks like. Has some nice purples, some interesting matte. They say this is supposed to be like Sally's Dress Halloween Town, and that's why the color story is the way it is. I haven't seen Nightmare Before Christmas in quite a long time, so I don't remember. I just remember saying that they should come out with a more jewel toned palette, with, since they like dark tones, and then give like some different unique shimmers to go with the jewel tones. So when I saw the Christmas Town palette, of course I had to grab it, because I'm like, I told them to make jewel tones, they finally made jewel tones. I need to, you know, like jump on this, since I was the one who was criticizing them for not doing this and suggested that they do it, and then what I look like being a whole hypocrite not buying it. So I ended up getting this one, and then I just ended up buying the other one during the sale, because they had a sale going on. This came out during the 20% off sale of Sephora, so I just went ahead and bought both of them. But this is what it looks like. I was actually disappointed by this one though, because a lot of the shimmers are those like sheer ones that you put on top of matte in order to get sort of pigmentation out of them, or you'll just get a more iridescent look on the lid, which is fine in time and place, but I don't always like that. But just because of the packaging, and this is so on theme for melt, I had to have it. But the formula on these is nothing like the Morte or the Waiting Room. Like, the formula is not my favorite, to be perfectly honest. So the last brand we're going to talk about in today's episode of limited edition palettes I'm never letting go is Adept Cosmetics. So y'all know I love Adept. I actually recently got a code with Adept toward the end of 2023 after they sent me their Element 115 palette in PR. So of course, If you know anything about me, then you know my Aero Inspired palette is not going to go anywhere once you see the inside of it. Because didn't I just say I love blue, green, and purple palettes? Look at this. Who is taking this away from me? No one. As soon as this came out, I was like, I need it, you need it, we need it. So when people didn't get it and she had to come out with it again, I was like, as soon as she said, I put in my stories like y'all better run. The people who didn't buy it when it first came out, you better run. Because honey, she might not restock it again. And you know, I wanted it in my collection badly, so I had to have it. So this is what she looks like. Absolutely stunning, wonderful, amazing. I like that she came up with these bigger formatted palettes. It wasn't I had a problem with the smaller, thinner ones, but I don't know, I just like this set up perfectly. And I love the color story of this, so you will never be taking it away from me. I don't care what you say, I don't care how you feel about it, you're not taking it away from me. So the next one, I've rambled about all of 2023 when it came out. So again, I feel like there should be no surprises of what palette I am talking about right now. Of course, I'm talking about my Seahorse palette. I'm sure y'all got tired of hearing me talk about the Seahorse palette over the summer, just over 2023, but I don't care. This palette is amazing. This palette is amazing. Like, if you love pastel, shimmery, iridescent, glittery shades, I feel like you would love this palette. The thing is, this palette is a little pricey. I think this one is, I forgot how much this is. I want to say it's like $125, so it's up there with Pat McGrath's prices, but it's got all the dual chromes and multi-chromes and shimmers and all that. And if you're a person who doesn't like to buy singles and have to like make a palette of singles, this would be good for you. And if you really love pastels and you already have like some mattes to put with it, not to mention you can use the inner corner shades, you can use this for a lot of different stuff. And I used it like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times over last year, which is a huge deal considering if you saw my eyeshadow ranking. And then I still missed like 10 eyeshadow palettes in that ranking, so I tried almost 85, 90 palettes and I still made time to use this. So that tells you how much I really like this palette. But yeah, this is one you'll never get away from me. To me, this is like the fun version of the Koi palette from Viseart. That's what this is. This is the fun iridescent cousin to the Koi palette, the quirky weird cousin, you know, that everybody has. Like that's what that palette is to the Viseart Koi palette. She's the more mature, sophisticated cousin. That's the little like fun cousin who comes to hang out in the summer or whatever. I know I've made a whole backstory for this palette. Moving on, the last one I have to talk about is the Cimmerian Sunset. So this one came out in 2023 as well. She was just coming out with all the hits in 2023. So this is what it looks like on the inside. I heard this is supposed to be named after a drink from Star Wars or Star Trek. I don't honestly know. I don't watch sci-fi type things. I'm sure my dad could tell you like what the Cimmerian Sunset is as far as drinks go and all that, because he watches all that type of stuff. Like he likes Star Wars and Star Trek and sci-fi-ish type things. I like them from time to time, but I don't know, Star Trek and Star Wars were never like the ones I got into personally. But I love the color story of this is what the point is. Like this definitely gives me fall vibes, and she brought it out at the appropriate time too. So I love the shifts in here. I like the tones that she chose, because I feel like the bottom does give like a desertish type sunset vibe to it, because you get some deeper tones, you still get some lighter tones, and they all just blend well with what she has going on with the shimmer. So I really truly do like this one. And at first I was kind of iffy. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, because it's more like warm tone. If you know anything about me, I'm more of a cool tone girl, and I like you know, I don't really like this sunset vibe and moment. But I feel like I've made some nice looks with this in spite of this not necessarily being the color story that I gravitate toward a lot of the time. So it's one I definitely will have to hold on to. And a lot of their palettes are limited edition, so if you see something that you want from Adept, I advise you budget to put it in your makeup budget, so that way you can get it. Because honey, you know, it might go away and she might not bring it back, or she'll bring it back like one time for the people who didn't do what I said, and then it's not coming back anymore. So I suggest with Adept, you just make sure you grab it when it goes out there, and you can use code GELBEAUTY87 at Adept now if you want to buy it. But those are all the palettes I had to talk about in today's episode of limited edition palettes I'm never letting go. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Remember, y'all in diamonds, comment down below and tell me if you're palette hoarders like I am. And what palettes you're hoarding that you're just never going to let go. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.